Yokoso minasan, it's me, Leo the professional weeb, and we're here today to react to Marriage Comes In Like a Lion episode 2. So, last week in the first episode, we got a lot of introductory information about the main character, this three sister that he's living with sometimes he's living alone. We don't exactly know yet the full story behind the relationship. And it also ended with a cliffhanger where an antagonist, I guess, some kind of rival character was introduced. And hopefully we get to learn more about him in this episode. And I really wish we're going to get to learn more about how he met the sisters or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure we won't get to see more about his past. I think they're going to keep it on the low, at least for the next few episodes. I don't think they'll go too much into details about what happened with his family or whatever depressing thing happened in the past. But I believe they will focus a lot on his current life. We're going to learn about what he's eating, maybe, what are his habits, what he's doing other than playing shogi as a professional. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to start the episode in 3, 2, 1, let's jam! Okay, so this is the scene from the last episode. Oh, Chin! That's so funny. Okay, I like this guy. Nikaido. Okay, so his name is Nikaido. Yeah, as I said, he's probably some kind of rival of the main character, or he thinks he's the rival of the main character. He's apparently also a criminal. Okay. Yeah. He's just leaving. In the end, I'm a genius. Yeah. Who's in the middle of the doors and they're like, that's really cool. Friendship effort, best friend forever. He's also apparently sweating a lot. He's a funny guy. Oh, a servant. Okay, so he's a rich guy. $45 years. Okay, so he's usually with that guy, and that guy takes care of him. I see him. Now he's eating pizza, having a bottle of cola, I assume. Okay, so they're going to have the next match. Okay, so he's his next opponent, I see. They have a cool dynamic though. The town along the river. Okay. So, let's see the opening once more and spot what maybe I missed in the first episode. We get to see the birds, but I guess every anime opening has some kind of bird in it. If you think about it, every single one, at least a lot of them do. I'm not exactly sure what's the meaning of it in this case, but yeah, whatever. Huh. This song's quite cool, actually. I'm starting to like it more now that I hear it a second time. I guess he's always been into books and stuff like that. But yeah, he's crying and he needs a hand to grab him out of the sea where he's drowning, basically. It is a really good opening, yeah. A lot of symbolism going into it. Akari. Was that one of the sisters? I can't remember their names. Okay. Oh, so he has some kind of ritual between the matches. It makes sense. Oh. His memories are faint. I'm guessing he's trying to forget about it. Okay, so basically 17 to 80, that's top class, okay. Oh. NHK Cup, okay. Yeah, it's in... Oh, okay. So I was thinking that the chubby guy, his rival, or at least the person that claims to be his rival, will play against him, but it's this guy instead, so maybe they'll play sometimes in the future. He's quite popular, isn't he? Matsumoto Issa. Okay, so he's 26. Is that like a valid strategy? I'm not exactly sure on the rules of shogi. Hopefully I get to learn something from this anime, but I don't think the focus is going to be too much on the game, but more on the character development. That face though. Smith? Some kind of foreigner, I guess. Yeah, he's blonde as well. All the foreign people in anime are blonde for some reason. They're both tall. Well, I'm tall as well. I guess I would get along with them too. And he lost. Yeah, so I really don't know the rules. I tried to watch some videos on YouTube tutorials how to play shogi in the past, but that was like 5 years ago or something like that. I completely forgot the rules. I know you can play pieces that you've captured, and it's a lot like chess, but they move differently, and you can move back as well with some of the pieces, like even the pawns, I believe. But again, I don't think it's too much about the game itself, and more about the characters in the show, and the game is just a means to characterize them. Hopefully it doesn't go too much into detail, because yeah, I don't even know the basics of shogi, so right now I'm not really understanding if this is like if this is supposed to be like obvious. He's winning obviously, but I assume so from their reactions. He doesn't hesitate at all. That guy is like super emotional, but he is very calm. Okay, so he lost. Oh. That's actually nice of him. He's a cool guy. Ichan. Five centimeters per second. That's so good then. You know, I was expecting him to not have this many people that he's close with or who can kick out friends. Oh. 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 Wife material right there. Okay, so his that older sister's name is Akari. Let's try to remember that. Okay, so she's working part-time here, I guess, and then helping the grandfather with his business as well, maybe? She's really nice though. Yeah, they are. Oh. Oh. This thing got dark fast. Did that happen to him? So he was with somebody. Oh, so that's how she met her. I mean, he met her. Oh, so yeah, as I said, it's what I said in the last video. She probably wanted to help him. And that's how the whole relationship started between them. Okay, so Akari is the older one, Hina is the middle, and Momo is the younger one. I'll try to remember that. She's amazing though. Oh. Yeah, yeah, I agree. She's a really nice person. He's lucky that she was the one who met him when he was drunk or whatever happened, when he was forced to drink. He was lucky. He has nothing. I think a lot of students can relate with him, waiting to buy supplies until the very last moment when they run out of them. You know, I've been there. I know the struggles. I know it's hard to go out sometimes. You just want to stay home. Okay, so he just has to cross the bridge to get to them. Yeah, this is exactly the same thing that happened to Arima. Exactly the same from Your Lie in April. Is portrayed the same way. But it's really good. It's a really strong image. You can see this portrayed in the ending when he's trying to run to them. Yeah, that's usually all you need, to be honest, to be happy. Okay, so he doesn't keep up with the times, or not the time, but because he obviously knows his schedule, but doesn't celebrate Ah, that's so cute, oh my god. Man, you should go with them. Screw them, cup noodles, scrub noodles. Just go eat at their place. So they're using him. I can feel it. It would probably be very hard to do. Damn, poor guy. Yeah, but that's why you can trust her. That's why she's family. She gets to see you at the worst moments, and she helped you. She's a nice person. I think it's really good for him to have this familial setting or person that he can be this close with, because he otherwise would be all alone, living in his empty room, eating cup noodles. Oh, so I guess this is some kind of event to remember those who have died. Not really familiar with the culture, but yeah, apparently this is something that they do to remember those who have died. The cats are still really funny. Okay. Okay, so he doesn't have anybody. That's quite sad. Being so young. Not really having family. Well, he at least has them. Oh, so I'm guessing it happened recently for them. Was that a car crash? So I guess that's how they died. Okay. So he pretty much gave up on everything and just played shogi, I assume, and got really good at it. Aw, that's so sweet. She's such a nice person, though. He's so lucky that he met her. Yeah. I really like the way the highlights are drawn in the background. It really looks really cool. It's a powerful picture. Okay, so he went back home. And that's the episode. Wow, that went off really fast. Okay, let's watch the ending once more time. Yeah, I think it's really cool, the transition between how his world looks like and how their world looks like. It's very colorful, and you get all these splashes on the screen. It's really powerful image, and he's trying to reach that. Even the snow is like multicolored. It's really cool. Yeah, he has to get over what happened in the past. He probably has to get accepted by his former self. Because I think he feels like his past self doesn't accept the person who he is now, stuff like that. But anyway, I'll talk more about it in the second part of this video. Alright, so in this episode of March Comes In Like a Lion, we got to learn a lot more about the people that are in Rei's life, but not so much about himself, which was kind of expected. Because while the last episode focused a lot on him, more so than the others, this episode gave us some clarity about his situation with the three sisters that he knows and he has been sleeping at in the last episode, and also about the rival that was introduced at the end of the previous episode, and we finally get more information about him. So apparently this chubby rival guy is not really an actual rival for Rei. Rei beat him in the past, and he's his self-proclaimed rival. He likes to think about himself that he's as good as Rei, but he probably isn't. But he seems like an interesting character. Something about him, I think he has some kind of story as well that will probably delve more when Rei actually finally gets to play him. I thought at first when he was introduced at the beginning of the episode that he was going to be Rei's first rival, but I guess they're going to play in a later match, probably at this tournament. I don't think it's going to be like way late in the series, but probably in a few episodes maybe. So that's when we're going to get to know more about him. So far, the only major thing that we know is that he likes pizza and drinks cola, and he has some kind of butler or someone that calls him master, and sticks with him and takes care of him basically. And now that guy's gone on a trip around the world because he's been a servant for his family for many years. So yeah, he's alone and basically being reckless and vandalizing people and stealing people's mail. Other characters that were introduced, I believe his name was Issa, the guy he played against in this episode, but also Smith, his friend, foreign. I assume he's from America, because yeah, that's where Smith is popular name. That's not much going for them. They're both nice guys. They seem like genuinely nice persons for Rei to hang around. It's nice that he actually has friends, because when I started this anime, I didn't think that he would have anybody. I thought he would be like really lonely, and he would meet someone during this anime that would change his life and make him become a better person. But that didn't actually happen. He already has all these great persons in his life, and it's probably going to be the three sisters mainly, but also the combination from the people that he plays shogi against that will help him get over his problems, get over his struggles, and understand how to deal with his emotions. But I like Issa. He seems, or Ichan, I believe Smith called him. He seems like a genuine nice guy. He is not the best shogi player from what we've seen in this episode, but at least he's trying, right? He always goes on attack, he seems really proactive, and yeah, he seems just like a nice friend to hang around. I don't think he'll play a big role in the story. I don't think Smith will play a big role either, but they're nice side characters. they are nice supporting characters, and maybe at some point later in the show they will somehow help Kiriyama or Rei or save him from a struggle, because they're both male, and it was clarified they're also both pretty tall, I believe over 1.8 meters each, so for Japan standards that's really tall. Yeah, so maybe if Rei gets into a fight, or I don't know, if there's a bully in his life, he can maybe count onto these guys because they're big, they can probably have his back and stuff like that. But I don't know if the show will ever get violent or into that kind of situation. But it's nice that he has someone that he can count on. We got some more information on especially the older sister. We didn't get too much about the middle and the younger one. So the older one, Akari, is probably one of the nicest characters in anime, period. It's pretty rare for a person to meet somebody who, like Rei, who overdrank and basically didn't know what to do. Was the way she said it, it seems like in the past he went out with some guys that pretended to be his friends just to force him to drink, or to make him to drink more than he could take, and just to laugh at him basically. So he had in the past some experiences with this kind of bullying, and that enforces my idea that his friends Issa and Smith may come into the story at a later point to maybe fight the bullies or make them somehow stop being a nuisance for Rei. And yeah, Akari is really a really charming character that knows how to speak and knows how to interact and basically she's really good at making people do what she wants them to do. As we saw, she made Issa pay for the drinks, and later on she made Rei come at her place. But you know, her reasons are good. She's not like doing it in order to gain something or profit from them. She's a nice character in general. She's someone that I feel that Rei really needs in his life, and it would have been way worse if she wasn't a part of his story. Another big information that we got in this episode is about his parents, and apparently they're dead. They're confirmed dead, and we got to see an image during the episode. It seemed like a car crash. It wasn't on for too long, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a car crash accident, and they died that way, and they're buried somewhere pretty far from this town. This explains why Rei's living alone. At first I thought that maybe he didn't get along with his parents, basically. He was kicked out of the house or something like that. Maybe he was adopted, maybe something like that, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Apparently his parents, both of them, are actually dead, and he's living alone. He moved to this new town probably in order to forget about the past, because he said during the episode that his memories of that time are faint. That maybe because it was far ago those incidents happened. He definitely looked a lot younger, but I believe he's actively trying to force himself to forget, which is pretty normal if you think about it. If your parents or someone you cared about dies like that, you try to block those memories. It's pretty humane to do so. So yeah, but they're very far away. I'm guessing he was living with them in that town. I forget the location, but yeah, he probably moved into this new town because it's closer to the Shogi Hall. He lives only one station, as he said, and he has that ritual of going on foot rather than going in the metro. But yeah, so he doesn't have any kind of guardian figure other than, you know, his new family, the three sisters and their grandfather that he's living with. But other than that, he's all on his own. And it's nice that he is self-sufficient. It is nice that he makes enough money to sustain himself. but it's also kind of sad because the way it was presented is that after his parents died, the only thing in his life that he focused on was shogi. And all those books, I assume, at least many of them, were about game theory and opening moves and stuff like that that would help him improve his gameplay. And I think this incident was so powerful to him, the death of his parents, that he was pretty much forced into this small room where the only thing that he could do is play shogi. At least he got really good at it. Apparently he's a genius at it, and he makes enough money to live a decent life from it. But it shows that he doesn't really have any other options if you think about it. He's pretty much stuck doing just this thing. He doesn't really have any... He doesn't have friends outside the shogi realm, shogi environment. Even the ones that were introduced in this episode, his chubby rival, the two tall guys, even they are... he met them because of shogi, which is nice, but he doesn't seem to get along with anyone from school, and the three sisters are pretty much his only friends that are not from shogi, which is kind of sad if you think about it. It's also sad that I think he also, because he only knows to play shogi, doesn't really know how to deal with life in general. That's why it wasn't said in this episode, but he obviously doesn't know how to cook because he was buying cup noodles during this episode. So yeah, he was only buying stuff that is easy to prepare. So he basically has no skills whatsoever outside the shogi game. And that's quite troublesome, especially when you're alone. Like if he had parents or something like that that he could count on, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But because he's alone, I think everybody, when you're living alone or when you don't have someone to help you, you should at least try to learn general life skills. You should try to become a better person, more than only in one region that you specialize in. It's cool that he can play shogi really well, and it's cool that he can make a living out of it, but there's so much more to life that I think he's not experiencing, and he needs to experience, I guess, to get over his trauma from the past. But other than the death of his parents, I don't believe that's the only problem that happened in his life, because the way it was portrayed in the first episode, we saw that woman at the beginning speaking very meanly to him, very, very rude to him. And it didn't seem to be about his parents, or she basically was just saying that he doesn't have anybody, doesn't have friends, doesn't have... Which, if you think about it, it's true, but the delivery of that information made her seem like a villain. So yeah, he probably had some kind of toxic relationship with her. I don't know who she is. Again, maybe that's another reason. Maybe he moved from his previous town because he didn't have... because of the people over there, like her, who would insult him or whatever. Another thing that was cool during the second part of this episode was at the very end, the bridge scene and the way he was walking with the food on his chest, the warm food, and you see the highlights in the back. I really like that image. And the bridge itself is a symbol of getting over it, right? You need a bridge to get over your problems, and that's what it seems that the way he was describing it, every time he went over the bridge, the other side of the town where the sisters are seemed very colorful, and the place that he wanted to go to, a very happy place for him, whereas his house was gloomy and empty, and basically he had nothing over there. He has nothing over there still. So that's one of the reasons why he still goes over to their place, despite the fact that he doesn't really have to. Like, they're not forcing him to go. They're not they're not close, but I mean, yeah, they're close, but they're not like family, like blood family. He just met Akari one day randomly, and she kind of helped him, and now he's pretty much stuck with them, which is a good thing for him, and it's nice. It's probably, now that I say it out loud, I'm thinking that the sisters need someone like him too, because we know for a fact that their mother at least died. We don't know what's happened to their father. Maybe because I don't mention it, I don't think he died or anything, but I believe he doesn't. Maybe their parents were divorced or something along those lines, or maybe he didn't take care of them and they don't want to live with him. Maybe he's a bad figure in the family. So I assume that's the case. So then maybe they need some kind of male figure right in their life, not only for. They're not only helping him, but also getting something in return in a way. They maybe I don't know. It will probably get explained in the later episodes. But for now, I assume that they need someone like him in their lives as well. The last thing I want to talk is about the opening and the ending. I said in the previous episode, the previous reaction, that I'll talk more about the opening and the ending. Yeah, there's not much more to add to the ending. I think it's fairly obvious what the symbolism and all the things they're trying to say. I explained in the last reaction. But the opening, I've seen he was crying right in the opening, which I didn't notice the first time watching it. As a child, he was reading like his book, and he was crying while reading. It just shows how he closed himself in. Basically, he was all alone, and I assume he didn't interact with people until recently, until he moved towns and met these new friends that he has now. I assume he was fairly alone for a long time, or perhaps another possibility is that the guy that he beat at shogi in the first episode took care of him because his parents died, right? And he seemed like some kind of uncle or something like that to him. So he probably took care of him, and he probably helped him even learn to play shogi. But now Rei, for some reason, is hating him, and we know that when playing him, he felt like with every move he was punching him, and it felt good for him to beat him. So perhaps something. So I assume that guy took him in or took care of him for a few years, but something happened. Maybe in some way he was connected to his parents' death, or for some reason did something really bad to Rei in the past. Maybe some kind of abuse, maybe something like. I don't think it's that bad, but yeah, I think he took care of him, but the environment in which he did that was a bad one for his growth. Other than that, yeah, the opening is very solid. Now listening to the song one more time, I'm starting to really like it. It's quite nice. It's quite soothing. It doesn't really jump at you the first time you listen to it, but I think it's one of the songs that grows on you the more you listen to it, and it fits. It definitely fits the atmosphere that the show is going to, and is trying to go for, at least. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this episode, guys. If you want to support this channel, if you want to support me, if you want to see more of my reactions, and even if you want to see the next episode 1 week earlier than it is uploaded on YouTube, you can go to my Patreon and support me over there. There are multiple tiers. You can do different pledges, you get different rewards. I think they're all pretty fun, and I think the price points are okay. So yeah, if you want to support me, that's definitely the best place to do so. You can as well join my Discord if you support me on Patreon, and we can talk more about anime and gaming and other stuff like that. But yeah, that's about it for this episode, guys. That's about it for this reaction. I'm Leo, I'm the professional weeb, and I'll see you in the next video.